So Lewis won. Well, to be precise, Lewis Hamilton has won the 2014 Formula 1 World Championship. And to be honest, I'm kinda glad that he did. Not because he somehow deserved it more than Nico, not because he is British, not because he suffered more bad luck than Nico, not because he scored more wins than Nico. It's because if he lost, Twitter and Facebook would likely have gone into a complete meltdown. If Nico had won through double points, there would have been a meltdown from fans not even on the Mercedes spectrum. Even though double points at this point didn't really have a difference. If Lewis had won in Brazil, I would understand it, since under ordinary circumstances, he would have won the championship in Brazil. It's tough being a neutral between these two drivers because of the amount of stupid comments and hate that gets bashed around between the drivers' fans, which you see on a daily basis on Facebook and Twitter, but particularly Facebook. It's been a very tiresome year, with conspiracy theories, hate between the fans and hate directed at the drivers, which at times can be utterly overkill. Of course, if Nico won the championship instead, in whatever way, we would have to cope with the mass hysteria, and while I can be a bit sadistic and enjoy it, it can get very tiresome very quickly. And considering how many Ask FM questions Dre gets on Lewis, yeah, it would have been annoying to say the least. And to be honest, despite the racing being good most of the time, did we really expect anything different? We all knew a Mercedes driver would win from the very start of the season, and by the end of Brazil, all that could realistically stop Hamilton would be a mechanical or car issue. I've seemed to develop F1 fatigue. This season has been tiring. The overhyping of everything that happens between Hamilton and Rosberg, both on and off the track, the pointless debate about the engine sound, the ugly noses, F1 politics once again going into overdrive thanks to the financial issues which are plain to see and can be easily resolved, but instead we get bad, short-term ideas to the problem which could have killed the sport if they went ahead. Related to that, Caterham and Maruggia pulling out of the 2 and 3 races respectively. What happened to Jules Bianchi so undeservingly? It's all worn me out, and I wasn't really excited for the season finale, because either Hamilton would walk to the championship, or have a car failure, and Rosberg would walk to the championship. I can add more on top of it if you want, such as everyone still questioning Vettel's ability as a racing driver, to Jenson Button seemingly being forced out of the sport, which is made worse by McLaren's terrible handling of the situation. But I'll leave that video for another time. I can't really put my finger on why I felt so meh about this season. Without the odd spat between Lewis and Nico, they just seem like bland characters. And while the revival of Williams' fortunes has got me a bit hyped, you know, I'm a Williams diehard fan here, it dies down quickly. Maybe I was being too optimistic when I said that most races had been good. Maybe only a few have been good. Bahrain and Hungary would be good examples. Most of the other races were kinda boring, and I'm not just referring to the winner being guaranteed to be a Mercedes barring any incident or mechanical issue. I'm talking about the racing just feeling dull, sanitized. Maybe this is getting deeper into how F1 has become. More runoff, DRS, bland drivers. But I just don't feel it anymore. Maybe it's my depression kicking in or something, but I just don't enjoy F1 as much as I used to. I found myself watching MotoGP a lot more, with the races being exciting even with Marquez winning most of the time. More social media input, the general feel of the sport being progressive and the riders being better characters. That, and there's a lot less politics dragging the sport down and making it look backwards and corrupt. Of course F1 isn't without its politics, but it's just bored me. I just want racing. I want quick, real racing with no gimmicks, a full grid, a fair financial system and an engaging social media. More likeable and colourful characters would help too, but without the media creating a fake and overblown rivalry in the process. And to be honest, that's all that I have left to say. I can't really think of anything else. Maybe that's just a good reflection on how boring this season has been. But again, maybe I'm just being too pessimistic. Maybe I'm looking at this at the wrong angle. But I just don't feel it. I don't feel much excitement when it comes to this season, and I don't know why. But I think we'll leave it at that. This has been Gino, otherwise known as Crekkan, since that's my channel name. Signing off.